shape not only a government but a nation. Their importance is crucial to how a democratic government is run. However, it can also significantly divide countries. This significance has existed since the beginning in what we now refer to as a democracy, which was explored by Katz and Mayer in their book Democracies and the Centralization of Political Parties, in which they state, political parties have long been recognized as essential institutions of democratic government. Both the organization of parties and their relationship with citizens, the state, and each other have evolved since the rise of liberal democracy in the 19th and early 20th centuries. Many agree with the definition of democracy as a system in which individuals acquire the power to decide by means of a competitive struggle for the people's vote. This definition requires there to be multiple political parties, as without the competitive struggle between political parties, it is not considered to be a democracy. Political parties have changed their initial strategies after the wartime from focusing on solidarity and identity to the modern day valuing criteria such as efficiency, honesty, and competence as more important. This has shown the major shift from previous decades to now, and what the general population now value, and political parties have had to adapt to these values. It is clear that political parties have always been essential within democracies through history and continue to do so. The question being discussed is, are political parties in decline or are they as strong as ever? Although a complex question, it can be argued either way. However, I believe political parties are in a steady decline in consideration with previous decades, but this does not mean that there are not outliers, in which I believe some political parties are as strong as ever, such as the current environment within the United States caused by Donald Trump's presidency. However, in other countries such as Australia, Teal members are becoming increasingly popular, which are blending two popular political parties together, combining the Liberal Party's historical viewpoints with the Greens' priorities upon issues such as climate change to create the colour teal. To answer the research question correctly, the previous significance in history of political parties must be analysed and then compared to the current significance placed upon them, including statistics such as the percentage of support, voting numbers in consideration to the population, and the general divide that they have created within the country. Results of my research has indicated that political parties are in a steady decline and have been for quite some time. A prime example of this is the United States of America. Their system is primarily divided into two parties, Democratic being more progressive and the Republican Party being conservative. Although these parties continuously campaign, it is believed that only about half of the population vote in presidential elections. A 2008 survey on the population's interest within public affairs and elections showed that only 26.1% were interested in public affairs most of the time, and 43.8% were very interested in the election. This number identifies just how little the general population is interested in politics, something which used to involve the entire country's population just centuries before. Although in recent years, American politics have taken a prime spot within global media due to Donald Trump's 2016 presidency and the divide between Democrats and Republicans, which is as strong as ever. The 2020 presidential election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden recorded the highest voting numbers in the 21st century at 66.8% of the population over 18 voting. Therefore, although political parties are in a state of decline, there are some outliers in which they have gained popularity due to their far-right views, which have created a large divide within the country, making citizens feel obliged to vote. Another example of the decline of political parties is the Teal movement within Australian politics. Although voting over the age of 18 is compulsory in Australia, there has been significant change to the amount of seats Labor and the Liberals are achieving, and this is partially due to these Teal independents. Although between 1940 and 1990 no independents were elected, this has changed in recent years, as there are 5 currently within Australian Parliament. As well as this, the vote for the major parties has dropped 20% in the last 50 years. This has caused independents to adapt to appeal to Liberal supporters who don't believe the government is doing enough about climate change and corruption by going out on their own, which has proven to be successful, as there are currently 22 community-backed independents. This change in dynamic has proven just how much the current political landscape has pivoted and changed, leaving the major political parties behind. Both countries have proven that political parties are continuing to decline, except for some outliers. A reflection upon this assignment is that it is difficult to find modern relevant information within books or journals, and therefore internet sources such as news articles and government websites were necessary in retrieving relevant information. However, these sources provided data which helped understand within the last 2 years how things have faced major changes, which is necessary to answering the research question of, are political parties in decline or are they as strong as ever? To conclude this presentation, it can be determined that politicals are currently within a steady decline and have been since the 1970s. This has been seen within Australia's political system with the rise of independents such as Teal members. Although this could change, which has been seen in the US within recent years, but this could also be an outlier which could continue to track down in years to come in consideration with who is running for presidency. Politics can be difficult to predict, as there are various unknown variables, but I believe that the major political parties will continue to lose traction and more independents will gain power due to their appeal to the public, as they don't have to continue to comply with historical values which are now very outdated. Thank you.